Happy Christmas, Kitty. Happy Christmas, Pete.
So this is Christmas, and what have you watched? Welcome back to the Scare Value Podcast.
I hate that.
Thank you.
What? Who was that? That was the Beatles, right?
Yeah. When you listen back to it, Kitty, because Pete won't, it actually starts with me going, Happy Christmas, Kitty. Happy Christmas, Pete.
I also hate that.
I know. That's why I did it when you guys weren't on, so that I get a safety recording.
All right. What are we doing today?
So, this is Christmas.
It's our annual Christmas Spooktacular.
Guess what?
Guess what? What?
It's Christmas Eve, but we're doing it. We're like timely.
We waited till Christmas Eve, I believe, so that you guys could congratulate me on my fantasy championship, probably.
Congratulations.
Oh, you won?
I did win. Pete, you had more points than me this week, which means had you started a tight end last week, you would have finally won the fantasy championship.
Yeah, I know, but that seems like a lot more.
Yeah.
Kitty's been world champion before. I've done it twice. Yep. So between the three of us, we have 3 championships.
Yeah.
All right. So what we do on the Christmas Spooktacular is everybody picks a movie. It's like Secret Santa, except we tell each other what it is.
Well, so we can watch them.
Yeah. Who wants to go first with their selection for Christmas 2024 Spooktacular? That's not what it's called.
I'm going to go last because mine was the best.
And he also didn't finish watching it a second time, and neither did I.
Yeah. I finished watching it this morning. I woke up early.
Good job.
Of course I did. I really wanted to watch the second one. My plan was to just watch the Christmas Yule Log and the new secret one that dropped like this year. But I decided to be nice to Brian, and as a gift for the holidays, I watched the other movies instead. You're welcome.
You watched Black Christmas after me because I watched it. I actually took initiative and watched a horror movie all by my onesie.
Wow.
I've never done that before. It was not scary.
That's kind of why I wanted to watch it. I'm like, well, if she's doing it, I guess I
exactly. That's why he did it.
None of that answered my question of who wanted to go first.
Well, Anna and the Apocalypse. Kitty, tell us about Anna and the Apocalypse, because that one's been on my list for a while to watch, and I didn't watch it because it wasn't Anna Kendrick's.
Well, it would have been better if it had been, I think. But it's a movie about some kids, and I'm assuming they're British, I think.
Scottish.
Oh, right. They're Scottish. They're in high school or whatever the equivalent is.
I thought you were going to say Scotland.
Well, they are in Scotland. I think they're in Scotland. They could not be in Scotland.
They're in Little Haven, Scotland.
Yeah, it's there's a zombie apocalypse. Everyone's getting turned into zombies, and they have to get out alive. And it's also a musical, and most of them die.
Most of them do die.
Yeah,
it was surprising almost that some of the deaths came when they came.
A lot of the deaths were very sweet. Like it was people giving up to save someone else. For the most part. Actually, all of them were.
It has one of my favorite tropes, not just of horror movies, but of any movie, where you have the pretty young lead and her best friend who's in love with her, and they really get rid of that plot point in an unexpected moment when he just dies. And I was like, but before he doesn't get the girl, they sing an entire song about how he's not going to get the girl. And I was like, I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Some of the songs a lot of the music was pretty okay.
Yeah, I thought the biggest issue with the movie is that all the songs I like are in the first half.
My issue was that the songs could have been a little bit shorter and the movie could have been a little bit faster because the songs were so long.
See, I like music, so I'm a musical.
No, I like the music, but for the purposes of the movie to progress the storyline, I think the songs could be shorter, and they still would have, given the message that they needed to give.
I liked like 3 or 4 of the songs that happen pretty much until the zombie outbreak happens, and then I'm like, I don't need the songs anymore. Like this was good exposition to get us to know the characters.
To that point,
pretty much don't remember or care about any of the songs after her ex-boyfriend shows up and has his big moment with singing and killing zombies.
Was a good song.
That was a good one. My favorite one is when they're dancing to the cemetery. They're not even going to school. They're meeting at the cemetery.
That one too.
That's the best song because it's unhinged. Behind her, the apocalypse is breaking out and she can't see it.
It's hilarious. Neither one of them noticed.
That was a real Shaun of the Dead
moment.
Yeah, and it was the best scene of the movie.
It was the best use of the song in the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
For its purposes, because the whole point is they have their AirPods in or whatever, and they're singing, so they aren't going to hear anything happen.
And they're singing a needlessly optimistic song about the future
like it's
as the
gonna be a
world
great
ends
day.
around them.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Pete, you hate music and fun. What did you think?
I like music and fun, and this type of
Kitty's
movie,
shaking her head no.
I, I don't hate this music. And
Oh no, I agree with that, but I just
see,
mean you don't like fun.
I look.
You like ruining fun? Is that what you're confusing it with?
I sit here in my basement and I'm quite cheerful. I feel very Grinch-like down here in the dark because I turned off
That's
the
why I
light to
put
watch
you
the
down there
movie.
today.
That's notoriously a thing the Grinch is known for, sitting in the dark, sure.
Yeah, okay. I have fun. I have fun doing it, and I had fun. I had fun watching this movie up until they started singing about every goddamn thing they felt like doing, and I just wanted them to stop.
I don't think that was 100% true.
I agree with you guys. Them dancing through the graveyard, best one, the only song I even vaguely remember. But Kitty, to your point about it being some shorter, I think the only musical I've ever truly enjoyed, and I've seen a lot of them, is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical episode because it's 40 minutes long. You can't do it anywhere else because it's a TV show. It progresses all the plot points. The songs are short. They stick in my head better. I don't remember really any of the songs from Anna and the Apocalypse.
The ex-boyfriend song I like the best.
I like that one, and I like the Turning My Life Around, which is where they're singing their way to the cemetery.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I like the best.
What does he call himself?
Battle Boy?
No, it's not Battle Boy.
He's a boy of war. He's a man boy. He's a battle boy. He's a battle boy. He kept saying it, but it was like
it was not
war
Battle
instead of boy.
The movie did another thing with that, like they did with the best friend who's in love with her, and they sing a song about how he's not going to get her, and then he dies.
That was awesome.
Present her ex as this arrogant piece of shit, and then he turns out to be just fine.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that they like the songs were all about tropes, and then they broke all the tropes.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, being the way he was, it was his coping mechanism because he was abused.
He was a
by his
battle
dad.
boy.
His dad was always disappointed in him,
Yeah.
and then his dad
He had to kill him.
to have him shoot him in the head or whatever. So he was traumatized.
Yeah, it was a surprisingly dark moment in the movie that's all Christmas lights and musicals because he's like, he told me not to let him down. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, for once in his life.
I know.
"Don't
It's like,
let me
good
down."
Lord. You know,
This wasn't lighthearted. Most of the people died while they sang about it. There should have been songs about them dying.
but it was cheery. Now, Pete, if you were any character in this movie, you were definitely the vice principal.
Oh, I would have watched the play that he was putting on. I would have watched that whole movie. The penguins rapping to each other. Whatever
That was good.
that dance when the kid came out, she had all the hunky gingerbread elves or whatever the hell they were dancing around with their candy canes. And I'm like, I would watch this. I would watch this play, and I would watch this principal, the vice principal. He was great. I'm sad that he ended up dead.
He had an unkempt beard that looked like it was glued on, as yours often does.
No.
Yes, oh yes.
Speaking of which, it looks like you shaved.
I know.
No.
Put your pants back on. He didn't need to see that, but you
Never.
do look shaved.
Oh, I see.
So do I.
I don't know.
Anyway.
The vice principal character is fascinating to me because the movie didn't actually need a villain, but it has one.
Yeah. I didn't love him being the villain.
Because it's so weird. He's such a weird character.
It was a weird character. It wasn't quite necessary. He already was a needless douchebag, so I would have preferred that he just get eaten by zombies in a funny way. I didn't get much out of the villainness. I didn't like the song.
No, he was a weird character to have in there. And if they'd cut him out, it could have been 75 minutes long, and Pete would have been praising it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have been closer. Shorter song, but he was the best part of the movie.
Disagree.
Hard pass on that.
Hard no.
I liked the characters, the young characters. I thought were all pretty good,
Yeah.
which is not always the case. And I thought they were all easy to invest in, and they're mostly going to die. So it was pretty cool.
I like the duo too, the girlfriend and boyfriend. The way they died was super sweet. It was high school romance all the way.
Yes, Pete and I know nothing about high school romances,
Mm.
unless it's between a boy and his comic book collection.
I always had boyfriends that I was like, I'm probably going to break up with this one.
I'm still together with my high school girlfriend.
The comic book collection.
You weren't even in college when we started dating, but you were supposed to be.
I was talking about my hand, but yes.
Oh, yeah.
because of all the high fives you give.
Yeah. I got an STD that way.
I mean, that was probably started out at grade school.
Wait, what? Grade school?
I mean, whenever you started masturbating, what was it? You thought you died?
What?
This is
The
the
first
Christmas
time you
episode.
masturbated. He thought he died or something.
No, he's told that story on this podcast unasked twice.
You could cut this out. All right. So overall, me and Pete, we were talking about it, how we felt about the movie after we watched it, because that one we did watch together.
What's your secret? Because I try to get him to do that every week and he refuses to.
To watch a movie together?
No, to discuss how he feels about the movie. We have a whole podcast centered around it and he refuses to do it.
I don't know. Because, I mean, we sat there for a minute when it ended and we were watching the credits and that. And when the credits were done, Pete's like, how do you feel about this? And I was like, I'm not quite sure. I think I need to watch it again. And he agreed at the time. Feel free to disagree now.
But then I remembered it was a musical, and the odds he's sitting back through a musical again. I was so happy when the credits played and they played the whole Penguin rap. By the way, that was great.
Yeah,
that was a good ending.
Very Christmassy though. Of the three movies, the most Christmassy of the three movies, I think by far.
I don't know. There's a Yule Log in mine.
That's true.
It's named Yule Log.
That movie is like traumatic at a lot of levels.
They stuffed a ton of Christmas into Anna and the Apocalypse.
They did.
It is a full-on hardcore Christmas movie, a full-on zombie movie, and a full-on musical.
Yeah, with the whole play too, like that you were saying.
Which is funny because I didn't know it was a Christmas movie until Kitty picked it.
I mean, the cover is her dancing with a candy cane, I think, but okay.
She kills everyone with that candy cane.
Yep. The first zombie kill is the best when she uses the teeter-totter to take the zombie's head off and then refuses to believe it's a zombie. And it's got a great cutback moment where he's like, these are zombies. She's like, that's ridiculous. He's like, well, that's not something that happens. And it cuts back to the zombie's head just talking on the ground.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question about the best friend.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's gay, right?
I thought they were all
he was
gay.
Totally straight. Like,
sure?
You mean the actor?
The performance. Let's just say the performance. I know that the story is saying that he's in love with Anna, but I think he's more just questioning his sexuality because he's pretty gay in that movie. And listen, I don't mean that in a bad way, obviously. My gaydar is pretty good. And by gaydar, I mean when my boner comes. He's pretty gay.
I think maybe because that would be his safe space, would be dating his best friend, right?
Yes. I think that she is letting him down in a way that also kind of points to, I don't think you've thought this through.
Or in a way that says, like, you need to embrace who you are.
Yeah.
Like, I can see that.
But plus Pete, she gave a classic Lizzie McGuire Gordo, you're my best friend.
That's right. I always like that. I think that Best Friend and Battle Boy should have hooked up. They seem like they would have been the couple who he was aggressive, but that was just misplaced feelings.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
I think the aggressiveness might be a cover.
I agree.
Because he had his best friends.
I do like that Anna, has her issues with her ex. And she's like, he's kind of a douche. But you can see when he's doing his big song that she's totally into him. And
you could see that throughout a lot of the movie. Like when they're sitting at the lunch tables and she keeps looking at him.
And I really like how you're presented from the perspective you have. She's got this really nice best friend who's in love with her. And she's got this alpha aggro male that you kind of hate. And her feelings seem misplaced. They seem like, oh, she's going for the wrong guy. But by the end of the movie, you're like, no, I totally see her point now. So like, I like that you're entering her world and she knows him better than you do. And then when you get to the end, it's like, but this seems to be a movie kind of there for, just let your friends date abusive people because they know better.
I mean, I think that's, again, going back to the typical high school romance, like at that age.
Again, Kitty, I got to stop you right here. Pete and I have no concept of what you're talking about.
Okay, and I'm approaching from a female perspective, and you guys have no idea about that either. Yeah, like you have all these emotions and hormones going, and you might be going after the wrong purpose just because they're hot.
Yeah, but she was right in the end. He was heroic and a good person, and...
Was she right, or was he just a douche?
Well, he was also the only one left alive.
Yeah, right.
So she picked a survivor.
Yeah, she picked a survivor. But was he a douche before all this happened?
I think that I bet everything that he wasn't to her one-on-one.
No, I would say he
I
wasn't,
think that's
but
the
that might have
difference.
been like to use her.
I think the difference is that she saw sides of him that she doesn't show the world, that he doesn't show the world at all. And then it comes out fully in the end. But I think that that's a nice way to do a story where you're introduced to a character, so you only see the surface level, but by the end you do see what's deeper, and she would have seen that before. And I like that because it's more subtle than most movies do, and it's a zombie Christmas apocalypse musical. So nice fitting that in.
Yeah, that's a very sweet interpretation you have.
Well, it's Christmas time.
Now, can we talk about how much I love that lesbian?
Oh,
she was the best.
She was, and she gets her car back. That was the big heroic moment of the movie.
And what is she? She's like, saved you, bitches.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, the characters are really good.
Mm-hmm. I just liked her story a lot.
You still there, Pete?
Oh, I'm still here. I wish I didn't sing so much.
All right. Well, we got that point the first time he said it.
That's what I got. You guys have a lot more. I like the vice principal, and I wish I didn't think so much. But I don't disagree with any of your points. I just didn't think that hard into it because, the singing.
I love that I called he loved the vice principal right from the get-go.
Right from the get-go.
Yeah.
If he had a Hawaiian shirt on, I'd have been all set.
If he's the vice principal, then who are you, Brian, in this story?
Oh, I'm the gay best friend. I was 100% projecting in that analysis.
Kitty, you're the battle boy.
You think so?
I
thought
so.
I was the weird lesbian.
Well, that's what you would like.
That's what I'd like to be. She was just so weird and awkward, in the beginning of the movie.
Hey, yeah. Why did the vice principal hate Anna's dad so much?
Because he was a janitor and he thought he was better than a janitor, but he was.
And he had to keep pointing it out.
Yeah, I think that was it. Well, and he wasn't a janitor. He was probably he would be like a maintenance man, like my dad was before he retired.
Maintenance man sounds like a good superhero.
Yeah,
because he'd fix things quick.
Yeah, it was my dad. My dad was always like, "Do you want it good or do you want it done?" So,
Pete, do you have a credit check for Anne and the Apocalypse?
Of course I do, Brian. I always have credit. As I said, big bonus through the credits, they play the whole Penguin Rap song that we only got to hear like a minute of during the actual movie. The one song that, was memorable, they saved for the credits. Let's see here. What do we got? So there's a petty cash buyer. I've been seeing those a lot lately. I don't know what that is, but they're in movies.
Wasn't there an assistant one too?
Yeah, there was. There was an assistant petty cash. Like, I guess there's so much petty cash on this set that they needed help spending it. There was an optometrist. I don't know why, but there was. There was...
Pete, you missed the easiest possible joke there.
I can't see why.
There you go. I don't know how it's possible that you had that set up and missed the punchline.
Because I'm looking down, because you know what's next on my list? A Jimmy Jib operator. A Jimmy Jib operator, guys. Sounds exciting. I don't know what it is, but I want to operate a Jimmy Jib. Then we get, this was, of the 3 movies we saw today, I'm spoiling, the only movie with a best boy. Steve Dahl is the best boy of Anna and the Apocalypse, and what a best boy he was.
Pete, you left out. Go ahead.
But no, what? What did I leave out?
No, go ahead.
Well, I also found out that the end credits were put together by something called endcrawl.com. And if you go there, you can just make your own end credits to things and update. You can make titles for TV shows and all sorts of stuff. So if you want to
be your New Year's at the end of it.
Just to make it end crawl for nothing?
Yeah, just make an end crawl. And
Kitty,
everything will be Stabell.
Kitty, you know how much he loves credits. I think he was just giving you a last minute gift idea. Think of all the fun things you could put in there. Boom Man's other.
Boom Man.
Pete, you missed the best part of the credits.
Not be Pete.
What did I miss? What's the best part of the credit?
Pete, the credits open with a dedication to a dead person. And you know I was excited.
Who died?
The death was Ryan McHenry, who created this whole world with a short film a few years earlier and got to work on the screenplay and then died 2 years before the movie was made. He's still credited as a screenplay writer, even though someone else ended up writing the script.
That's cute. He had the concept, so.
Because all it says is dedicated to that name. And I got to go searching for what happened. And you know I enjoyed that.
That's right. The credits are a gift they keep on giving. I think people need to pay more attention. There's always something. Always
Well, I
something.
mean, people now when they watch Marvel movies have no choice but to sit through the credits so they can get the Easter egg.
But you know what?
So maybe people are paying more attention.
I've been in the theaters, Kitty. What I see is their stupid faces with the glow of their stupid phones while they're looking at their phones, waiting for the Marvel cutscenes in the mid-credit scene or whatever. They need to be focused rapidly on what's the end, all that is happening from endcrawl.com.
That is such a vice principal rant.
Yeah. Do you think Pete's angry today?
Well, it is the holidays, so he's either angry or suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only two ways you can be.
Don't even get me started about President's Day.
That's a Gremlins throwback.
It is.
Gremlins 2.
The funny thing is when I said it, the first thing I thought of was Kate and Gremlins 2.
Of course. That's what I thought when you said it, which is why I said what I said.
She's really co-opted that holiday in my brain.
She really is. Good for her.
I chose the 50th anniversary of proto-slasher Black Christmas, directed by one of my favorite directors of all time, even though I don't like any of his other movies, Bob Clark, because he's got the most interesting quadrant of films. If you take 4 films from his filmography, they're so strange that they're all by the same person. He directed Black Christmas. He directed A Christmas Story. He directed...
It gets Christmas movies.
I'm watching that.
It gets so much better. He directed Porky's. And he directed Baby Geniuses.
Wow.
Find me 4 movies in one filmography that are crazier than those 4.
Okay.
Baby Geniuses. Was that a Joe Mantegna movie?
Pete, I would never know the answer to this.
I think it might have been.
I hate to think that he went from Searching for Bobby Fischer to Baby Geniuses.
So you thought I wasn't going to like this movie?
I thought you'd both like it the least of the 3, because it's the least showy of the 3. It's the least, there's the least happening of the 3. You know, when I watched it again, I forgot how much of the movie is just the girls sitting around the sorority house.
By the phone?
Yeah.
I actually liked it a lot. Pete had to give me some background on it because...
Oh no, everything he said was probably wrong.
You know, that occurred to me.
What did you call it, a proto-slasher, Pete?
Yes.
Because it's one of the first slasher movies.
Yeah, there's no rules yet.
Yeah, once I had that context, I appreciated the movie a lot more because I was struggling with some of the things they were trying to do.
Yes.
Like the, what do you call it? The first person, where it was over his shoulder and not actually, you know, over the serial killer's shoulder as opposed to being like straight on.
Right.
So I was like, why the hell are they doing it this way? But they hadn't developed it yet, the technology.
No, it's so much easier. When you watch Black Christmas, one of the most interesting things about it is how it doesn't fit any template because it doesn't know what to do. But just 4 years later, every movie would follow the same template. So there's a version of Black Christmas that comes out 5 years later that would just be, you would know all the beats before they happen. What makes Black Christmas kind of fascinating is there's no beats. They're just like, I don't know, let's just sit around for a while and then we'll figure something out.
Look, before this, I'm heartened to find out that I was kind of right when I was giving Kitty the background. There wasn't, right? We had Psycho and then this and Texas Chainsaw, right?
Yeah, this came out the same year as Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and between the two is where we get most of the things that end up in Halloween. But you can see in the main character in this movie how unlike a final girl she is. This is not the chaste, pure, virginal thing. She's pregnant and she wants to have an abortion. And I looked this up.
Right?
Abortion, not legal in Canada, where this was shot and set. Not legal in Canada at all for many years. Had just been legalized in the United States the year before. But her character is British. And she's not hiding the accent because the actress is British. And it's been legal in England for many years before that. So I'm guessing she was just going to go home and do it.
Yeah, either there or drive down to the U.S. I don't know how far away.
She could have done either. Yeah. So, but I thought it was interesting because it's a Canadian movie set in Canada and not legal at all. Like full stop, not legal.
I didn't know it was Canada. I thought the cops would have been riding horses.
I know. That was confusing to me too.
My favorite character was the drunk one.
Margot Kidder?
Was her name Annie? Or was it Annie?
Yeah, Margot Kidder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Margot
her.
Kidder.
She was an awful human being.
Margot Kidder was
great.
Barb.
Barb.
Who is the cause of all of this. Just throw that out there.
Wait, why would she become?
Because she is the first person on the phone with the moaner, or Billy as we come to know him, that challenges him, and he's been calling for months and he's not doing anything. And then she's like, tell him to fuck off and everything, and titillating him. And then he crawls through the fucking window and is like, oh, I guess I'm going to kill everybody now. So, and then halfway through the movie, she's like, I know everyone blames me. And I'm like, I kind of do. I kind of do blame you a little.
I didn't see that. I just thought it was an escalation. He was going to eventually.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe it was her that escalated it enough for him to act. But he did kill that girl in the park.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Billy's one of the most interesting slasher villains because that's all we ever know about him. We don't know who he is. We don't know what his purpose is. They did that. The reason they did that was obvious. They thought that would be scarier if you didn't know anything about him and you didn't know who he was or anything. It does work because the character's memorable, even though he's never on screen. You never, you hear his voice, you see his shadow, you see his eye. That was actually pretty creepy when he's staring.
When he's looking through the thing.
Yeah.
Through the door.
And we never figure out who he is, right?
Never figure out who he is. And it leads to one of my all-time favorite bad characters in a movie. Because I love this movie, but there are things about it that I just think are pretty funny. And Jess's boyfriend is so needlessly, aggressively awful because
Peter?
he's the only suspect you have. So he has to be, you have to believe that he's fucking crazy. So he has to play it crazy. And I love that. I love the way he plays it because he has no chance every scene to ever win you over because he's just there to make you hate him. A real Pete.
Hey.
He is a douchebag. Like he's just
the character.
Terrible person.
Pete, what's the character's name?
Anna?
No,
and
that's the wrong movie.
Yule Log?
Yep.
I don't know. He did have a name. I was very disappointed and betrayed by him. I felt the betrayal deep in my soul. I'm like, hey, that's a Peter. And you feel a kinship with a fellow Pete. You're like, you're good. But if you'll notice, he called himself Peter.
He did.
Can't trust a Peter. It's a Pete. Pete's are your guys.
Peter is just another word for dick, and he was playing a dick in the movie.
He probably rode his bike.
Let me ask everyone a question about Peter. Why is he creeping around the basement window?
I don't know. I didn't understand that. I mean, apparently to die.
It's a great shot when you see his shadow doing it, but he can just go in the front door. He's been here before.
Well, the door sticks, and they locked everything.
Oh, you're right. It's so weird. It was just weird when you look over and he's just creepily staring in the window, and he's like, Jess, is that you?
After one of the murders, when he comes downstairs, he's like, oh, I was just sleeping up in your room. And it's like, all right. Like, it's weirdly, you know what I mean? It's throwing it in your face that he has to be the killer because they don't have the subtlety or the ideas yet. And he's the only person it could be, I guess.
Yes.
But that was weird. That was weirder to me than...
Yeah, I don't know what happens in sorority houses, but I thought they were kind of like just an open door.
Yeah, they are. Because I was in a fraternity, and it's the same thing. You have your house mother, or we had a woman one year, we had a man the next year, or the year before, and you basically just come and go because it's like living in an open house. Because I lived in the fraternity house, and it is exactly like that. Like there's no, if anybody wants to come in there and start murdering you, they're just gonna walk right in the door.
I can't tell if the house mother liked the girls or hated them.
She liked booze.
Well, I figured that part out.
I enjoy that the inciting incident of this movie is one of the sorority sisters is killed. They never find her. She's just up there hanging out in the attic at the end of the movie.
Those police are really bad.
Well, they're Canadian.
They end up leaving her alone in the house with a cop just standing outside at the end.
Now, this is not the movie people think the line comes from. And the line isn't technically in there, but this is the original The Call Is Coming From Inside the House movie.
It is,
when The Stranger Calls came out in 1979, that's the one everyone attributes it to. But when you watch this movie, there's an entire scene dedicated and built around a police officer calling to tell her the call is coming from inside the house. So I always think it's funny that people just dismiss that it comes from this movie.
By the way, the comedic part, the comedic heart of this movie is that police guy, the desk sergeant.
Oh, the desk sergeant?
Yeah.
Who doesn't know what the word fellatio means?
Oh, my God.
It's a call sign.
Margot Kidder is great in this movie. You can see that she was going to be something. Yeah. This is 4 years before Superman.
Oh, okay. So early movie. Early.
This is before she got to America, I think, because she's Canadian. And this was, you could see that she's like all kinds of charisma.
Yeah.
And she's going to be, she's a good choice for Lois Lane, because when you watch this movie, it's like, there's a little of Lois Lane in there from that, the first movie, before she just becomes kind of a nothing character in the next three. In the original Superman, she is very acerbic witted and owns a room when she walks into it.
You know, in Black Christmas, I thought she was going to be the final girl for a while, and then she started drinking like insane amounts, and I was like, I guess she's going to die.
Well, there's no rules yet, so she could have been.
She could have
Well,
been.
there wasn't really a final. Well, I meant there was a final girl, in so much as there was one girl left for a minute.
Yeah.
I usually that's a final girl.
What's that?
That's the final person, final girl.
Well, she probably
Yeah, but-
dies after the movie, but
Oh, she does.
probably.
Kitty pointed it out. If you watch through the whole credits, the phone rings the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Kitty's hypothesis is that, hey, someone was always there to answer it before, but now there's nobody left. He's killed her because she was left alone by the bumbling desk sergeant in this house where the killer was still hiding, because Peter was not the killer, despite being a dick, despite being a Peter.
At least it solved her question of what to do with the baby.
Yeah, it was taken care of. It wasn't really a question for her ever. She was like, I'm going to do this. And Peter was like, no, no, no. So it wasn't a question for her what she was going to do. She had goals in life, and she she wasn't ready to have a child.
Very forward-thinking movie in 1974 Canada.
Yeah.
That is not something that people did in movies in 1974. There weren't empowering things like that. And this is what, when people write about the early days of slasher movies and how, yeah, they're all kind of the same, and they're all kind of, you know,
Boobs.
boys
There's no
going
boobs.
to see nudity and women get butchered. I get that. But one of the main things that makes the genre great is that they're also largely have a feminist angle to them, because you end up recognizing and siding with the lead woman by the end of the movie. So all those boys go there to see women get beat up, they claim, but by the end of the movie, who are they rooting for? It's you know, here's a movie where it's taking a female character and saying, I have something to say about my body, my choice, my future. And I'm like, 1974 Canada, that's insane. It really is kind of insane. And that wasn't, you know, that was prestige drama stuff, not slasher movies.
And what did she get for her troubles?
She got killed at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, that was why, because before the murder got escalated, he was just calling. But then every time he called after that, someone died. So that was why my theory was that she gets killed at the end, because the phone just starts ringing, and I'm assuming he's going to kill her.
Well, that was Olivia Hussey, who was fairly known at the time because she was in the very famous Romeo and Juliet movie in 1968. And they were surprised that they got her for the movie, because she kind of was more of a prestige actress at the time and in demand. But she took the movie because a psychic told her she would go to Canada and make a movie that made a lot of money.
Did Black Christmas make a lot of money?
No. But it is a movie that stands up 50 years later as something people watch and talk about. So it actually was a very good career move. But it's funny because a psychic told her that she would do it, and then she got the offer, and she's like, gotta go do it.
I think she was just bored with what she was doing and wanted to do something different.
We've talked about it before. Horror movies offer a lot for an actor. Look at The Substance. Horror movies give actors a chance to really go with the character.
See, I thought he was going to go with Halloween.
Also in
Jamie Lee
1974,
Curtis. Yeah.
there was no stigma on horror movies. We talked about this. The Exorcist came out the year before, was nominated for Best Picture. There was no... When she's signing up to do Black Christmas, it's just more like a thriller. Nobody knows what a slasher is. It's just a thriller that she's got a meaty part in. It's only like a month later when Texas Chainsaw Massacre comes out that everybody goes, oh, horror movies are trash. Pete, that was your moment to just jump in and say, yeah, I hate that movie.
I don't hate that movie. I'm just trying to figure out why they were so against the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's not blood or nudity. I mean, there's some blood, but there's not like over-the-top craziness, blood or nudity in either one.
I don't know. I haven't seen like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'll probably never watch it.
There's like 15 good minutes.
But I think it was maybe a simplistic storyline.
Nope.
That they approached
It's one of the best movies ever made. People attacked it because it implies horrific violence at a level that wasn't being done in movies ever before.
So why can't horror movies win Oscars now?
Oh, because everyone's a snob. Although, when I watch something like The Substance, and I think, how in the world could Demi Moore not be nominated for this movie? I refuse to believe 5 people gave better performances than her this year. It doesn't seem possible. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes something does break through. Jordan Peele won Best Screenplay for a horror movie. It can happen. It just, the odds are so against you. But this movie, Pete, do you want to play the Margot Kidder game?
I'm
obviously
sorry. Do.
I don't know why you said yes, because I don't. That's not a thing. Pete, do you want to play the Mrs. Kidder game?
I want to play the Margot Kidder game.
Well, we can. How old was Margot Kidder in Black Christmas? Who is clearly the oldest of the girls in the...
Really?
Didn't she seem the oldest of the girls?
She seemed the most mature, but that doesn't mean she was the oldest.
I think she was the least mature. She's tricking cops into talking about fellatio with their sergeants.
No. Oh, right. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
She just looked older.
Recognizing a mark. She could see it. And she's like, this guy I can have fun with. Look at him at his desk. He's great. What else? He did something else. So anyway, how old do I think Margot Kidder is? I think she was... 20? You got to guess, Kitty?
28.
26, which means she was 30 when she did Superman.
I'll buy it. I don't remember Superman. You wait.
Olivia Hussey was only 23. And how old was her boyfriend, Peter?
612.
30.
No, he was 40 easy.
Keir Dullea, who was famously in 2001: A Space Odyssey. He was David Bowman, was another actor they were surprised they got. 38 years old.
Yep, that's great. I win that one.
Not shocking.
How old was John Saxon, the police officer who is the only one who actually tries to help, who was also the father in Nightmare on Elm Street in this movie?
He's got one of them faces. I feel like he's had that face for a very long time.
Yes, he's got a cop face. That's why he always plays a cop.
Right. I think he turned like 21, and that's its face, and it's been like that for a good long while now. I'm going to guess at the time of Black Christmas that he was 39 and a half.
You think he was only 1 year older than Keir Dullea?
Yes.
Okay. Kitty, how old was John Saxon, the cop who is hilariously yelling at the other cop for doing the opposite of what he told her to do? Do not tell her she's alone in the house. The killer's in the house. And then he immediately goes, the killer's in the house.
32.
He's the same age as Keir Dullea. He's 38 years old, and it's crazy. And Pete's right. John Saxon would look like that for the rest of his life. He was in Nightmare on Elm Street 10 years later, looked exactly the same. He's in Wes Craven's New Nightmare 10 years after that, still looks exactly the same.
He's ageless.
Well, not anymore, because he died in 2020.
I bet you if you dig up that coffin right now, he's going to be looking the exact same in there.
He was in Enter the Dragon before this, looking exactly the same. He was John Saxon. He's great.
I heard the Crypt Keeper is coming back. They're doing a new series. Yay! I've been waiting.
On HBO or somewhere else?
I didn't. My sources did not give up that information.
You mean you just clicked the headline?
I just saw the headline. I didn't click on the article.
Pete, who is your favorite character in Black Christmas?
Margot Kidder is always good, but it's got to be it's got to be I don't know if it's the detective or the detective's like partner detective who worked in the same office, who you could just see laughing uproariously in the background at how stupid the desk sergeant was. But that desk sergeant was awesome. He was great.
I thought it was someone we had not brought up yet.
Who's still in the movie?
The boyfriend.
You know?
No, the other boyfriend.
Oh, the one who the hockey player who was told that is.
Oh God, he was the fucking kitty. How could I forget him? That giant fur coat he had on. He walked around like his girlfriend, his friend said, "Hey man, we haven't seen your girlfriend." He's like, "We talked to the cop," and he's like, "The fuck, they didn't listen." And he shows up in his fur coat and he like tells the desk sergeant to pound sand, and then he goes and he just like basically, I think he's heading up the investigation for half the movie, just walking around in his fur. I want that fur coat, by the way.
In most movies post this one, he would have been the killer.
Yeah, because you wouldn't expect it.
Exactly.
And it was his girlfriend who died first.
It was. So these movies start twisting on the expectations of what movies like Black Christmas set up. So when you watch it, none of that's ever going to happen. But when you watch it with modern eyes, you go, "This is clearly this guy." Because, oh, she's missing? oh my God, I better do everything I can to throw myself off the scent.
Well, I mean, he was the first suspect for about 5 minutes, until he went to the police station and was like,
In his fur coat.
what the fuck?
Well, nobody in that fur coat's going to be a murderer.
No. And also, you
believe that.
respect a man. You respect a man who just walks around in there.
A goalie with the confidence to walk around in the fur coat.
Right. And a hockey player. Whatever happened to him? Did he just kind of wander away?
He lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's probably Billy, if you want to be honest.
We don't find it. It could have been him, right?
It could have been him.
Everyone else is dead, except for the cops.
There's a Hollywood legend about this movie that's probably true. It's just that the way Bob Clark tells it seems a little too clean. He worked with John Carpenter on an unrealized project after this and before Halloween. And he claims that Carpenter asked him if he would ever make a sequel to Black Christmas. And he said, no, I don't think so. But if I did, here's how I would do it. Billy would have been caught. He would escape the mental institution. He would go back to the house and start killing again. And it would happen on Halloween. Now, that is the plot of Halloween. I do believe that this conversation took place. I don't think it was as clean cut as that.
Yeah.
Because Bob Clark himself says he doesn't believe for a second that John Carpenter stole anything from his idea. Because because John Carpenter was given the idea by someone else. The producer said, I want a movie where a killer stalks babysitters. That's the plot of Halloween 2. So I don't believe that Bob Clark actually did exactly what he says he did, but I do believe that the influence is very heavy. It's the movie that most influenced Halloween is Black Christmas. But to say that, like, here's the entire plot of Halloween and I told it to him, I don't know that that's true.
I think the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, was the one that influenced Halloween the most.
Interesting. Do you know what year that movie came out?
The Great Pumpkin?
Yeah.
It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown? That movie came out in 1732. It was one of the first things the Pilgrims brought over on the Santa Maria when they landed on wherever they landed.
Well, it came out
California.
in 66, so this actually could have added up.
1766, you say? I was a couple of years off.
My favorite character is Margot Kidder because it's a great role.
No kidding.
Oh, no.
She gets killed with the unicorn horn.
Oh, no, that's right. Oh, remember how many crystal things were around in the 70s? I do. I had lots of crystal things.
No, Pete, because I was born at the end of the 70s.
Yeah, your baby room wasn't filled up with crystals. I didn't have a crib. I had a geode that my mom would put me in to sleep.
Do you have a credit check?
Of course I have a credit check. Ready? Aside from the phone ringing, the only thing that this credits have to report is there somebody's job on this set was a boom. And they had a name, but I didn't write the name down. I wrote phone rings through entire credits instead of his name.
I think they had a ridiculous name.
That was just boom.
I can't
that was
remember.
It. Not boom operator, not boom room, nothing, just boom. So that happened. Not a lot of credits in the Black Christmas.
Did you like Black Christmas, Pete?
Yeah, I did. I thought it had a lot going for it. It's especially like you say, Kitty, it's the proto slasher. There's so much to see. Like if you can look at it through that viewpoint, through that lens, you'll enjoy it, I think, more than if you're trying to compare it to anything now. It's not flashy. It's not violent. There's no nudity. It's a fun movie, though. I thought so. I liked it better than. I thought it was better than Anne in the Apocalypse.
Do you think it's better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Pete?
Or one or two?
I'm just letting you guys go, right?
Did I ask if it was better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre too, Pete?
Oh yeah, it's not better than part 2.
Is it better than the first one?
That's tough, man. That's tough. Because once you get in the house in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's pretty solid. I don't know. I'm going to think on that one for a while. I can't answer you. Next Christmas, I'll give you my answer. I will ponder it.
Don't look forward to that because you won't.
I will ponder which one is better.
Forget.
I hate to say it, but gosh, I don't know. That's tough. I think it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
We're moving up the list.
Just because the family. What are their names again in that movie?
They don't
Not
have
the
a name in that
Claggets.
movie, but they're the Sawyer family in the second
The
one.
Sawyers, that's right. Those Sawyers are something. I kind of did watch a movie with starring them, and that was part 2.
All right,
There.
Pete, what did you pick for your Christmas
I
offering?
I picked a Yule log. I
Mhm.
wanted to watch the Christmas Yule log that burns in the fireplace because
We did
that
too.
soothes my soul.
We sat there for like an hour and a half just staring at it.
Yep. Then all of a sudden, stuff started happening in front of the fireplace. I'm like, what the fuck? I was busy here watching this. But yeah, that's what I picked. I picked the Yule log. Find the one that has stuff happening in front of it, though.
It's called Adult Swim Yule Log, aka The Fireplace, streaming on Max.
It came out like, what, 2 or 3 years ago with no fanfare.
2022.
Yeah, it was released with, it was the Adult Swim people. And I think they did it, and it was released first on Adult Swim.
Yes.
And it was very low budget, very put together, like last minute, very hush hush. It was done purposefully, just like low budget to stay under the radar of any big execs because they look what they were able to do. I don't even know how to sum up this movie. It's a Yule log, and you're just watching it burn. Then some stuff happens in front of it, and then it hands out, and you get a play for like 20 minutes because it's just there on a static camera that does it. It's one take, by the way. I don't know if either of you caught that. The whole play is one take. There's no cuts, no edits. No, you guys don't look impressed. I was impressed. I thought that was pretty nifty. It is. I looked it up. So there. Did you know, Brian, that fireplace was supposed to go on for 2 hours before anything happened?
That's funny.
That was the initial concept. Or no, I'm sorry, like an hour and a half or so. They were just going to have it burning. Just if you watch that, and if you stick around long enough, you get rewarded, which I really like, and I wish they had been able to do. But yeah, it's a haunted cabin, and a couple is there, and then yeah, bad things happen because the cabin is haunted. And
There's a killer Yule log.
there is a laundry list of antagonists in this movie. You start off with what is he, like a homicidal Donald Trump and his mother, who are there
That's not
too.
where you start. You start with the Yule log attacking people.
No. You start with the assault in the house.
Yeah, you just don't see it because it happens off screen.
I forgot. I didn't watch that part.
Right. You got the Yule log, and then you're seeing a woman cleaning, and then she's attacked by somebody or something. And I maintain that there was sexual assault going on with that. And Kitty, you said that it was not. It was just a murder. Well, there's a bloody bra thrown on the fire, and then when you get later in the movie, the mother talks about how she wants a grandkid, and she wants her son to like carry on the line, but he's an idiot. Yeah, so it's hillbillies, a hillbilly rapist son with his mother encouraging it. Then we transfer to the Yule log that is cursed from being it's from a hanging tree from slave times, and they had cut it down to burn it. Then we move on to, what do we got next? Does the alien come in now? Oh no, there's the little man in the fireplace. Let's not forget the little man in the fireplace.
Yeah, it's at the end.
Yeah,
The little man in the fireplace is my favorite killer maybe in the history of film because he kills with time travel.
It doesn't see. You're from all right. It starts off, you're just watching the Yule log.
Oh boy, we're all the way back to that.
I can't wrap my head around it. Somebody else try.
It's not even. It's lit. I don't know. It starts off. Yeah, I didn't watch the beginning because I watched it like last year and I didn't do the rewatch.
You're at a cabin, and Zoe and her boyfriend are there for the weekend, and then a group comes because they also booked the same cabin. So you get about 20 minutes of meeting these people. The stoner of this group crawls into the fireplace at the behest of a little man who shows him images from his past.
A little southern man who sounds like Colonel Sanders and looks like him too.
He's amazing. And he gets him to kill himself while his mother's pregnant with him. It's unbelievable. And then later he tries again with Zoe to get her to do something in the past that will undo her, but she manages to overcome him and fell the greatest villain, I think, in the history of film.
And this is just a minor subplot that's not given explanation. He has nothing to do because there's the hangings, there's slavery, because we keep getting time slides too to the cabin at various eras. And I still haven't figured out what all of those eras have to do. You have little kids in the 50s. You have like a housewife in the 60s. You've got somebody, I think it was the 70s, who was cross-dressing. Like there was all of these slides, and I feel like they all tie in to the story.
The slave woman that had a child by the owner, that one made sense because she ended up killing him, and then I think she got hung from the hanging tree. So I feel like that might be the source of
yes, the
origin,
tree.
yeah, of the Yule log is that.
But remember, there were the hanging tree. The sheriff and the deputy aren't real sheriff and deputies. They are cult members who you see for a half a second at the hanging tree when Zoe and her boyfriend are trying to escape town, which, by the way, they try to stop her, and she does what I wish everyone would do, and she just steps on the gas and runs them over. If somebody has proven to be a bad guy, they're like, hold on, let me explain. You don't stop and let them explain. You just keep going. So I love it. But there was that whole cult that was going on there on top of before the slavery and everything. Like this could be so many different things that could be starting. I don't know if the cult was
before the slaves, though.
Well, I found this out by watching the credits. You see that there's like a naked woman in the barn in the background when you're at the hanging scene, and she is a demon goddess. So that was some kind of demon that they were summoning or something, according to the credits.
Okay. Trying to make sense of this movie is a futile effort. It's an amazing piece of work.
There's an alien.
It just gets now. Yeah, the alien shows up, and her fiance makes a lot of assumptions about the character of an alien that has conquered faster than light travel. You know, when it's like you have to be, because you have faster than light travel, you must be a species that is empathetic, and you must be kind. And it's like, who says that? You know, we used to have no cars. Everybody that has a car and grew up with a car isn't like, empathetic and a great person. You grow up with technology, it's not going to affect you. How does he know how long the alien has had this technology?
Did he also not try the speech immediately after it sucked the organs and such out of the insane mother of the hillbilly Donald Trump? Kitty thinks the mask that the hillbilly was wearing was Donald Trump, and I don't disagree.
I feel like that was a purposeful choice. So.
Maybe. I didn't even notice.
Oh, you'll have to watch it.
I did watch it.
Well, again, just for that fact.
Yeah. If you guys watched it and you paid so much attention, did you notice that when it cuts back to the very end and the Yule log has chased them to their car after Zoe and the boyfriend have escaped? First off, it shows up and then it freezes and you go to an ad agency. Mm-hmm. And all of the people are there that were in the movie, but they're just playing people at an ad agency. And then everything starts burning and they start reverting back to who they played, like the slave and the slave owner and the killer hillbilly. And then it cuts back to the Yule log and it bashes through the window. Did you see the little man from the fireplace is riding the Yule log?
Nope.
I feel like I did.
Okay, he's there. He's not there before it freezes and they go to the ad agency. But afterwards, he's riding and going, yeehaw! And then they burst through the window and attack Zoe and her boyfriend. But he was there, so he's not gone. He's still a going concern. I hope he shows up in part 2.
I didn't think he
doesn't.
No.
And they intimate at the end of it that Zoe gets killed, but she doesn't, because she is the star of the sequel that came out this year in the same fashion, just a Yule log release that has a whole movie inside of it.
That's fantastic.
Her boyfriend gets killed.
Yes.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Yes. Fiance. She did agree to marry him by the end of the movie.
I don't know why he wanted to marry her, because she was clearly unhinged.
Well, he had most of his organs removed, I think, at that point, so he wasn't feeling so hot.
Not when he asked her to marry him.
Yeah, he asked right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Then stuff happened. And that other girl might have survived. One ran away in the woods. She was like, I'm out of here.
I thought she was the sacrifice for the cult.
That's what I thought, too. But then I saw the credits where it called her a demon goddess.
Well, could her body have gotten possessed at that point by the demon goddess?
Ooh.
I think you guys are looking too hard into a movie that is not making that many choices that make sense on purpose.
Well, it's like Southland Tales. You can interpret a lot of things.
The cult had its own thing going on. They used that tree. I think they used the hanging tree as a way of, I don't know, collect, like sacrificing and collecting power. And they've been doing that for a while.
This movie made a targeted attack on me when they pull out a Trivial Pursuit and they say, it looks old. It looks like it's from the 90s.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm good at.
That's the one I'm good at, too. But it made me feel...
You guys memorizing the game and all the questions doesn't mean
No,
you're
Genus,
good at
as people tell you, Genus 4 just had the easiest questions because they're right in the wheelhouse of somebody that was our age when it came out.
I might have played it a couple times.
So Pete and I could get around the board without having to stop because it was the easiest by far. And the Genus 5 came out and we played it once. It was like, this is hard as shit. Let's go back to 4.
Despite us having lived in the those subsequent few years between the editions, we learned nothing in that time.
It was insane, the jump in difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, that one might not have been as difficult for me because I'm a few years younger than you guys.
It's true.
So don't play Genus 5 with you. Got it.
Oh, no, I'm probably terrible, but...
Well, then let's play.
I'm just saying it might have been a little easier.
The guy who did this, Kitty, this movie,
Casper Kelly,
he did a short, but it's not really a short, but it's called Too Many Cooks. And I don't think I've showed it to you, but I don't know what else this guy has done, but Too Many Cooks is...
He did the Cheddar Goblin sketch in Mandy.
You had me a Cheddar Goblin.
I don't remember the Cheddar Goblin in Mandy.
Time for a Mandy watch along.
Well, we got to do that with Ken because there's a penis in it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't be there for that.
He's our penis expert.
Hey, which movie had the detached floating penis that killed people?
I think that's a dream you had.
I think that's a movie you guys should write.
I think we talked about ghost penis that one time, and now you've had a dream about it. Giving it a whole story.
That sounds right.
I'll give it a whole story.
Okay.
Oh, that failed.
Yeah.
Whole is spelled H-O-L-E. It'd be funnier if you read it.
If you had to explain the joke, that means it's not
Well,
a
it
good
would
one.
be funnier if you read it, if I had written it down. Put it there. You'd be laughing now, let me tell you.
Kitty is laughing now, but I don't think she's laughing at what you hope she's laughing at.
I'm laughing at you, not with you.
It's close enough.
Got a credit check, Pete?
Of course I do. Of course. Credit check for this one. Just so you know how Black Christmas had a boom?
I heard that somewhere, yeah.
This one had a boom OP.
Probably operator.
That is clearly what it is, yes.
It's overpowered. I know what OP means. They also, and this was filmed, this is one of those rare movies that I don't think you'll ever see again, but there was a COVID compliance officer because that was a thing for like a year, anything that came out during COVID times. So that's a fun little historical tidbit you'll see in some movies. You got to check those credits, folks. And the last thing, and this one was important, they had...
I guarantee it's not.
They had a man... Oh, wait. Go ahead, Kitty.
No, I'm sorry. I closed my eyes and shook my head, and Brian rolled his eyes and kind of sighed when you said, that's why you got to check the credits. Go on. Tell us the most important thing.
Martin Salamanca will disagree. Martin Salamanca was the fire safety officer on this set. And if you're going to have a burning, haunted Yule log that kills people, you better have a fire safety officer. So...
Fair.
Take that up with Martin Salamanca. That's my credit check.
We picked 3 very different movies this year, and they're all fun in their own way. And this was a good one. Last year, Kitty picked the best movie ever. Not a horror movie, but still the best movie ever.
It's
and
a Christmas
Die Hard
movie.
4.
Pete picked a movie he'd never seen before.
Which movie was that?
It's a Wonderful Knife.
It was all right.
And I picked Better Watch Out, and Kitty and I argued about it for an hour.
Oh, that's right.
And then this year, I thought we all picked kind of crowd-pleasing ones.
I'm impressed with these.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Anna and the Apocalypse.
These are some good Christmas horror movies. And, there's so many Christmas horror movies. There's so many terrible ones, too. And every year, I think I'm going to pick a terrible one and just really enjoy how bad it is. But every year, I end up picking one I actually like because there's so many to choose from. And, we do this every Christmas. It's not a religious thing. It's just that Christmas is what all the movies are. If somebody finds a Kwanzaa or a Hanukkah horror movie, feel free to pick it.
Oh my God, that's a brilliant idea.
That's
That's going to be my goal for next year. Is to
Wouldn't
pick
you think there would be a Hanukkah one because you get to do it for 8 nights? So a serial killer, it's like perfectly set up for one.
Oh.
Jesus. Christ, you're right. That is perfectly.
No, he
set
wouldn't
up
be invited.
there. No, I think he would be, right? Just to be
Well, if
killed.
it's
He'd be the
Adam
one dead on the
Sandler,
8th day.
right?
That's right. Probably the first day, but yeah, that's. I'm
First-
surprised that there aren't. I mean, I've seen religious horror movies set with different religions before, but they never end up being. I've never seen a Hanukkah horror movie. It's crazy because it's right there. The serial killer, it's right there. You know, you light the candle after every kill. It's perfect. How has this not been done?
Or, yeah, no. I was going to say you put a candle out, but that's not how Hanukkah works.
It's the opposite of how Hanukkah works, in fact.
Well, I know. I figured it out. That's why I didn't say anything.
Well, if anybody can find one, I would love to watch one.
There is one.
Oh, really?
Hanukkah Uncut.
Oh, that's hilarious.
A group of Jewish young adults are preparing for the holidays, but are in for a festival of frights. With the help of a wise rabbi, they deduce that they are being targeted because they have violated Judaic law and that their only chance of survival is to embrace their faith. That doesn't sound like a good horror movie.
No, I think it should just be a serial killer killing people 8 days in a row. It seems pretty obvious what it should be.
Yeah.
How about your 8 botched circumcisions?
7 maids of milking.
Kitty, you got a 6?
I'm trying to think of something for 5.
Well,
Oh, I skipped 6. That's fine.
well, yeah. So it's not a religious thing. So if you are from a different denomination, just understand the official position of the Scare Value podcast is that your religion is just as stupid and useless as everyone else's. It's just that Christmas is the one that's been commercialized, so we get hundreds of films.
I celebrate the commercial aspects of Christmas. I honestly have no interest in whatever the religious significance is.
Nope, none at all. And Pete, you do pray to a deity, though.
Oh, I do. Well, I don't pray. I spread the word.
You spread the word, the gospel of Nick.
Oh, I thought
do.
it was the Gospel of Crows. He's got a lot of religions.
I got a lot of friends. I got a lot of religions. I'm a busy guy. Oh, I have cage. I have Christmas cage themes. I have a cage quiz hot shot. Are you guys ready? Someone answer me, Kitty. Stop looking up Hanukkah movies. I can see you. I can see you there.
It's like there's only the one, but they keep saying that it's from. Oh, there's a. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Do your cage thing.
Cage quiz hot shots. How many Nicolas Cage Christmas movies are there?
3. Nope, Cage's dozen.
Well, I don't know. 4.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like I might have asked this last year, but I didn't realize that until after I had written it down and started looking up things. Last time I looked,
well, how many are there?
It's hard to find out an answer because they keep throwing in movies. In fact, like this year, one kept coming up. It's called Call the Ghost.
So that's not a real movie.
It is. It's called Call the Ghost. Just looking at it, the Nicolas Cage movie, and it shows up in all the Christmas lists. But it's a Halloween ghost story, and the kid gets kidnapped or something. I don't know, but he's got to go find the child. Long story short, after looking up this thing and looking, it's got nothing to do with Christmas at any point. I haven't watched the movie to confirm, but it sounds pretty good. I think I'm going to go see it.
I'm pretty positive The Family Man is a Christmas movie.
Yes, that's one of them.
How many are there? You never told us the fucking answer.
Well, I don't know what the answer is. To my best guess, there's between 3 and 5.
I thought I missed it because I was looking for like holiday movies, but okay.
The ones I can lock down, I got Family Man, Trapped in Paradise, and A Christmas Carol, which he did apparently the voice of. I don't know what this is, but also there's a movie called Next that keeps showing up, which is some sort of psychic movie, possibly an apocalypse movie. They all keep popping up in Christmas movies, but I can't get any confirmation aside from me sitting down and watching them. They're on my list, but they're not, at the top of the list. So I'll have to keep you going. So between 3 and 5. So I guess, Brian, what did you pick, Kitty, 4?
Yeah.
Boy, I guess it's A Christmas Miracle. You guys tied.
No, I put a 4 up.
Sam walked in. He says he put 4 up as well.
Oh, he came up here and was quiet. He's moving fast. Yeah.
No,
Every day.
I was with you. Then I put a 4 up. Then Mom said she put a 4.
I didn't hear him.
So that's what I got. Merry Christmas.
Oh, that's your gift to the world.
That is somebody tell me how many Christmas movies Nicolas Cage has made.
Okay, he just doesn't.
Like, he just doesn't. I guess you were doubly correct.
I could believe it. There's an Arbor Day horror movie.
The thing was, I knew that there was one. So in typical Nick Cage fashion, in Nicolas Cage fashion, I just tripled it because he's made 3 times as many movies as you think he's made.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good rule of thumb. Oh, man. Can you imagine if there was like a Nicholas Christmas special where he just like tickles you?
Nicholas Cage.
Nicholas Cage, you could call him. I like this new Santa Claus you've invented, Brian. I'm hoping I can somehow make him using the computers and the AIs.
Well, if we have a Nicolas Cage Santa Claus figure coming down the chimney to tickle children, there's going to be a lot more Kates from Gremlins when they grow up.
That's creepy.
In lots of different ways. Hey, Sam, you're here now. What do you want? What do you want to talk about? No, we don't want to talk about Fortnite. That's not Christmassy. I guess you'll just leave. Thanks for stopping by.
Go get your sister so she can say something on the podcast. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Billy.
Did you say Billy? Are you doing your sweet? Hey, Kitty, as a Christmas favor, can you do the Stripe voice for me?
Please stop doing this online.
I the jokes.
Kitty,
he's not joking.
Do it
I know,
for me.
but like the bit's old.
But I never bring it up. And he keeps giving me updates.
You've brought it up before.
No.
Oh, the Nick Cage? No, I mean that bit.
No. His sexual fantasy of you as a gremlin.
Hey, Fred. Welcome to the podcast. Okay, is there anything you want to talk to Uncle Brian and Mom about? And anybody who's listening?
Mommy's upstairs.
All right, then. I see where this is going. Hey, is this what it's like to do a podcast with me?
No, they answered.
Okay. Anything good? You see any horror movies this year?
No, it's just 2.
So, listen.
Good.
No. Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
You were in the movie theater, Sam.
Oh, and I was on your phone. I was on your phone. Why does Uncle Brian look like that? Why does he look like that? Where is his hat? His bald. Oh, wow. Hey, guys, you ready? I'm going to disappear.
He thinks your video's on, I think. We can't see it. Now it's like recording a podcast with you.
Oh, I'm crying.
That's your family. Family of geniuses you got over there. The men in that house are special breed.
I'm a little disappointed. Sam didn't name anything he saw hanging on the wall.
I don't know what's funnier, that he came on to do a visual bit on a podcast, or that he couldn't even do it because Pete doesn't have his video on. There he is. Now he can do it.
Now disappeared.
Yep, he disappeared.
Where'd he go?
I'm confused.
He had to walk up 2 floors to do that. That's real commitment.
Oh, that hurt.
Oh, there we go.
That hurt my nipple.
Did you hear what he said?
No,
Cover his bald spot.
You can't.
Mine or yours?
How
Both of your guys.
dare you?
That's bald spot.
Is he back?
Your bald spot, buddy.
Wow. So you got a full house over there. You guys excited for Christmas?
Tell Fred to show. Yeah. Show
I am.
bald spots.
I have made 1 million cookies, which was fun, but I have to wrap presents and hope I have enough presents.
I watched 3 horror movies.
Yes, we all did, Pete. You can't brag about that or try to make it an accomplishment on a podcast where the other people had to do the same thing.
Yeah, but I feel like
You can try.
I should get like special recognition because it's extra hard for me to do that. What was that?
It's the signed football.
Taryn
Kitty's-
Johnson.
Kitty's face turned into a
Best
football for a
cornerback
minute.
in the
I got
league.
confused. She looked like that Hey Arnold kid from the
Pointy.
cartoons.
Yeah, he was.
Wild times over at the
One time he fell and
Olekseenko
made
Omhauer
it
residence.
Literally, your elbow felt like a sword.
Yes, my
Yeah.
elbows feel like swords.
What do you got going on over there? Got some dogs? I see you got your Claude Jamma shirt on.
That's right. Going to see Nosferatu tonight finally so that I can finish all the year-end stuff that they made me hold up until I saw Nosferatu.
What time is
I
Nosferatu?
don't remember that.
9.
9. Oh, that's really late.
Yes, but the mall closes at 5, so I'm actually very thankful that it's at 9.
Oh,
Otherwise, I'd be driving into that monstrosity during business
Ugh.
hours on Christmas Eve, which would be a disaster.
yeah. I
So-
went there. It was awful.
Well, I'm excited to go to an empty mall.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, twice. Hey, there's remakes of Black Christmas, right?
There are 2 remakes of Black Christmas.
He mentioned that on the podcast.
And
No,
today.
neither one of them's
Yeah.
any good, right?
people hate the latest one. I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
The
Does it have
2019 one
anything-
is okay. The 2006 one is like a cult favorite, although I think it's terrible.
Is there anything worth watching that the original doesn't do? Because the
That was a
original
little
is pretty
creepy.
solid.
What? Sam like hiding behind the pillows and then popping out.
2019 is a much more feminist movie than the other ones. It really empowers all of the women in the sorority house, and I think it actually works pretty well. 2006 is just like a glossy remake, and it's from the remake era, and I don't think it's any good.
I
But it
don't
has a
like
great
the remake
cast,
there.
but I don't think it's any good.
I'm not a fan of remakes.
Are pretty bad. Yeah.
Well, that is Christmas. So that was Christmas. And what had we done? We watched 3 movies, which we do every
watched
Christmas.
3 movies.
Yeah,
And
we did. But these were 3 solid movies.
we got our regular fun things coming up that we do at the end of the year. We got the top 10, I think, is next week. Top 10 movies of the year. We got Nicolas Cage's birthday, where we will
Yeah,
be drafting
Nicolas.
Nicolas Cage movies from several different cagegories.
Good job.
And
I'm proud of
Are we gonna-
you.
Are we going to have Annie brackets this year?
nope, we have
Aw,
cagegories.
I'm going to have an Annie
Aw.
bracket.
We'll do another draft another year because he has a lot of birthdays. Because we all know that he's immortal. And we'll have the Scare Value Awards and the Foreign Correspondence Awards. And eventually we'll get back to regular episodes. But this is the time of year where the episodes are not regular.
I don't
Yeah.
think they're ever regular.
Well, I mean, ones where we can just be like, I watched Candyman. And then we can talk about Candyman. The ones that are easier to do.
What are you talking about? This one was easy. I watched 3 movies. It was a
pretty
piece
easy.
of cake. Just sat there, waking up really early. So to watch a movie without children interrupting me
In the middle of the holidays.
in the middle of the holidays. Oh no, I spilled my coffee all over myself. Hey, the coffee was empty. I didn't spill anything. Good for me.
Me?
The children are disappointed.
Are they both down there now?
Yes.
I think so.
Oh, and a cat. I am over full of riches. All right.
Did the kids want to say something before we go?
Do you guys want to
They've
say
been
anything
trying.
for the podcast
For a podcast.
about Scare Value, about Christmas, about how happy you are for me to be your father?
Okay, that's ridiculous.
There was a that is ridiculous. There was a bloodbath last night. What? In the NFL. What? Literally 34-0.
I think you need to look up what the word literally means.
Are you kidding me? Wait, no.
I think you should pull that clip and use that. Put it on your little clip box.
Yeah. You put it on your little
Are you
box.
kidding me right now?
I think that every time Pete says something, I'll just click it and it'll be Sam saying.
Yeah,
you kidding me?
exactly.
Say something right now.
You could.
Are you kidding me right now?
That's a
Just
clean
keep saying
one.
the same thing.
Taking that
Are you
one.
kidding
That's a
me
clean
right
one.
now? Okay. Are you kidding me right now? How do
You
you
can
get
stop saying it, buddy.
No, I don't think
Nope,
you can.
it's a
Kitty.
90s sitcom and he's got his catchphrase.
45 billionaire years old?
Oh.
What?
Kitty. Too many cooks. I didn't get the chance to tell you. It was, how long was it, like 10 minutes or 12 minutes?
Yeah.
It was just the theme song to an 80s sitcom, and it keeps going. And then stuff starts happening, like a serial killer starts murdering through the background.
Wait, you might have showed me that.
Did I? Because it's great. Like, it's really fun. I want to watch it again. I meant to. I put a little note on my notebook to watch it again, but I didn't.
This head gets so much smaller as you go to the top. Look at it.
He looks like a little penis.
Wait, you're the bald spot. The bald spot.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah. And all your dog. Then I got it. That it is. In all its glory. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
The Christmas season is finished.
Well, Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and do yourself a favor, and it's time to watch One Man's Trash again.
It is time to watch One Man's Trash.
Yes.
It's the holiday season, I feel like.
Everybody go look up YouTube, Chris Gethard Show, One Man's Trash. Enjoy an hour of your life that you'll want to revisit every year around this time. Even though it's not a Christmas thing, it's how I celebrate.
It'll
Tomorrow
stick with
it's time to watch A Christmas Story.
It is.
And Night at the Museum.
Christmas Story, directed by Bob Clark, director of Black Christmas.
You ready?
We should make it we should make it a Bob Clark Day and watch all 4 of those movies in a row and then do a podcast.
I think watching all 4 of those specific movies in a row opens a portal into another dimension of madness.
Is there a little Southern guy there
Yes.
who's going to try to make me erase myself?
It's not going to be hard for him to convince you.
Yeah.
I've been watching these kids mess with your head. Literally. That's how you use it for the last 5 minutes.
I mean, it wouldn't be great for this podcast because we don't talk to people who don't exist.
People, that's most of our listenership. People can't see it, but they've just been pulling and groping and moving around Pete's hair for the last 5 straight minutes.
It's pretty normal.
You just get accustomed to it. You allow it to go on. You try your best to ignore it and live your life. You know, like
Is Pete going to be in a good mood or a bad mood when he comes upstairs?
Pete? He'll be in a Pete mood.
Oh.
Are you kissing my bald spot? That was weird. Whoa. Oh, like that.
Kitty, do the stripe voice while he's kissing his bald spot.
Happy holidays.
Oh, it is creepy. Why is that your thing? I don't understand.
It's not my thing. I don't want to do it anymore.
It's his thing.
Oh,
I named it Ben Grimm.
Oh, that's how we're gonna end the Christmas episode. Hey, didn't you tell me once that Ben Grimm was Jewish and he got a Hanukkah card?
Oh my gosh, that's right. He did. I forgot about it.
Can't remember one Nicolas Cage update, including the one we got this episode, but I remember that Ben Grimm is Jewish and got a Hanukkah card from Moon Knight.
For Moon Knight?
Yeah, Moon Knight sent him a Hanukkah card.
Is this like even necessary anywhere? No, it's not.
It's just
No,
nice
but I
to
think
be
that there's no
represented.
better way for the Scare Value podcast to end its 2024 Christmas Spooktacular than talking about Jewish superheroes. Especially Ben Grimm, the Thing. All right, we're going to end it. And I don't know. The kids, have any of the last words from the kids?
Ow!
There you go. We'll see you next week.